If you're looking for a purely utilitarian tool in a flashlight, then the ArmyTek Wizard Pro might be for you. You can use it as a normal flashlight, a headlamp, a magnetic work light, and finally you can use it as a football, if you want. It comes with this stuff, probably in a box. There's a nice pocket clip that doesn't work very well with the head mount. You can use the light upside down in the mount, but that means the battery and temperature indicator are going to be flashing into your eyes all the time, unless you turn it off. The build quality is objectively great, but the styling is subjectively boring. It's purely utilitarian, and that probably appeals to a lot of you, but I really like seeing creative designs that look more streamlined and feel better in the hand, like Zebra Light. The Wizard Pro has double O-ring seals, which is great for waterproofing. It's rated for 10 meters depth, and the head is thread locked onto the tube, which probably helps with waterproofing too. Another thing that helps with sealing is the magnetic charging. It lets you have the convenience of in-light charging without adding a fragile and hard to seal port. The trade-off is the proprietary cable, but if you don't use the charging, you aren't really losing anything by having it there in the first place. The light feels really durable, but I haven't extensively tested it. Luckily, ArmyTek says you can literally throw it out of a 10-story building. Don't do that. That's a joke. Okay, I think I should add a disclaimer here. That is actually on ArmyTek's website, but I'm pretty sure they're referring to the more tactical style lights, which are rated for 30 meters drop, and even that's probably a bit of a stretch. So just, be careful with your lights, and I'm not responsible if you break them. Along with the anodizing, I dislike the engravings that ArmyTek puts on their lights, but that's just me. Luckily, the Wizard Pro isn't as bad as some of their other lights. I mean, what does brightest for city even mean? My favorite thing about this light, aside from those double O-ring seals, is the UI and the really low moonlight mode. It's kind of mesmerizing just to stare into the lens when it's in moonlight. There are 8 modes plus 3 strobe modes, but they're arranged in a way that makes it easy to access the mode that you want when you want it, even from off. These modes are arranged into 4 main groups: Firefly, Main, Turbo, and Strobe. Strobe is the hardest to access, and in my opinion that's how it should be on a non-tactical light. While the light is off, holding the power button will make the light scroll through 7 brightness levels, starting with the 0.15 lumen Firefly 1 and ending on the 900 lumen Turbo 1. It'll loop for as long as you hold it. If you turn it off, it'll come back on in the same mode unless you trigger a shortcut. A shortcut can be a long press, a double click, a triple click, or yes, even the fabled quadruple click. Like I mentioned before, the long press from off always triggers moonlight, a double press from off will always trigger that whatever main brightness you used last, and a triple click will always trigger whatever turbo you were in last. Same concept for strobe, except it's 4 clicks. Whenever you're in any one of these groups, holding the button will cycle between brightnesses within each individual group. While the light is on, double clicking will switch between main and firefly. Triple click still takes you to turbo, and quadruple click will still take you to strobe. Did you get all of that? Me neither, but I promise it's simpler than it sounds. But wait, there's more. You can also program it to work like a momentary light and turn the always on battery indicator on and off. If you want to know how to do that, read the manual, I guess. The light comes in normal and warm white, and due to the TIR optic, there's no tint shift or imperfections in the beam whatsoever. The beam is a directional flood, and that means it doesn't have a defined hotspot, which makes it great for headlamp or work light duty, and it gives the light a little more range than a pure flood bare emitter. Due to the wideness of the beam, if you're using it as a flashlight, sometimes the reflection off your hand will slightly blind you if you're not careful, so just keep that in mind. In a light this small and bright, thermals are going to be an issue. If you run the light on turbo for any extended period of time, it's going to burn you. It won't let itself get hot enough to damage the light or actually injure you, but it will get damn hot. In my experience though, it can run as long as you need it to in the highest main mode without getting uncomfortably hot. This is the environment I'll be using to show what the beam looks like outside. there's a tree line straight ahead, and then over to the left there is a large tree in the yard that's a little bit closer. That's about 100 feet. And then even further to the left you can see my dad planting a tree. That's cool. Alright, so what you're seeing right now is the Wizard Pro on about a medium brightness in terms of what it can do. And I'm just going to cycle through the modes, starting from off. If you see this little red light, that's my microphone recording, so I don't have shit audio. You're welcome. If there's background noise, it's just the bugs in the area. There's a ton of bugs. You may be able to see me because this is backlit by a street light, but it's not very bright. So here we go. Starting in moonlight. Very dim, very nice. You won't be able to see it on the ground on camera, but this is great for getting up in the middle of the night. Then second, probably still can't see it on camera, but this is also great for indoors at night. And then there's a third. This is still classified as Firefly, but it's pretty bright for just indoors with night adjusted eyes. Really great range of brightnesses in the lower section. Then I'm going to double click to get to the medium ones. I'm pretty sure this is like the middle medium, so you just cycle through them. You can see the brightnesses. This is the highest of the, I think it's called standard. You can see quite a ways. It's also pretty bright just if it's pointed at the camera or something. You can see that sign a ways back. I will put a measurement on the screen how far away that is. I didn't measure it beforehand. There's also a tree over there that you'll be able to see. Hopefully the camera can see that. You make sure. I'll have to rotate the camera, but anyways, this is very bright. There are two turbo brightnesses. You can see switching between them like so. Let me know what you think of this kind of demonstration, because I don't see it done very often walking around. Here's someone coming on the road to get you an idea of how far away the road is. Not going to shine the light at them because that would be inconsiderate. Let me rotate the camera so that you can see. There we can see the tree in the distance. And the light at this point is getting pretty hot. And again, I'll show the light in turbo here. And I will have a measurement to how far that tree is from here. Hey Panther, what's up? Now as a quick comparison, I have a through night TC20. This is the low mode on the TC20. I'm going to be using this light as the standard reference light for this channel from here forward. So you'll be able to compare all the lights that I review against this one. Here's medium on the TC20. And of course, this is not a floodlight, so it's going to throw further. But let's see. Here's high. And that'll give you a good comparison for the brightness. And let me show you the other one. That's the Wizard Pro in turbo. And again, the TC20 in high. So for the Wizard Pro being such a floody light, you can tell it really puts out a lot of light because it's still bright even though it's covering a lot more area. And another comparison for those who like comparisons, I've got a zebra light. A zebra light SC64W. What are you doing, zebra light? There we go. That's its highest output, I believe. Yes. And this thing's extremely bright for the size as well, but that gives you a good idea of how bright the Wizard Pro is.